Folks, hello. Good morning. Well, it's morning here currently. Monday morning of finals week. What is today? The 29th. And it never fails. I'm pretty sure when I sat down and did like the intro video, like, welcome, here's the syllabus and blah, 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 and probably said something to the effect of, it's going to feel like a week and suddenly we'll be wrapping things up. And it never fails. So here we are, like it or not, ready or not. But I just wanted to at least get something quickly kind of put together to touch base, to kind of take stock of, all right, where we've been, where we're at, and then kind of what we're looking at in the chunk of time that we still have available to us. So, and I do promise I'll try to keep it at least semi brief because I have a way of being very verbose. Um, so where to begin? I guess first things first, because I haven't really sent anything out generally to kind of all of you in a while. I've been in touch with many of you like individually. Collectively, though, like things are on the whole looking really really great, as I've been saying to each of you kind of individually for your projects, for the questions, the research ideas, the things that you've been doing, the data you've been gathering. Absolutely love the projects from this summer, from this term. You all have put together some really interesting hypotheses, interesting studies, and with at least with the ones, for instance, that I've been working with people, kind of playing with the data, looking at some of that. Yeah, really good stuff. That being said, when I guess when I'm kind of taking this generalized approach to all of you, there's a lot of variability kind of in the course with kind of where people are at, what they're currently focused on, what you need, what you want, where you're going, all of that sort of stuff. So it's hard to speak too much in generalized terms. But for some of you, I already have your whole thing. Everything's put together. The data has been run. The paper has been put together, fleshed out, and at least a few of you, I can already see you got everything submitted. And I think for all intents and purposes, I mean, you're done. You've done the course, you've wrapped it up, and everything's in. And sincere congratulations on that, because as all of you know, in an advanced research course like this, with the project and all the moving parts that go into this is no small task at all. So for those of you who are already at that point, like I said, rock on. That's awesome. Killer. That's great. For others of you, you're kind of at that end stage now. We got the data. The data are pretty well put together, analyzed. Now it's a matter of kind of getting the paper fleshed out and that. I've had a few of you all touching base just here very recently now, and I'm going to be getting back to you all this morning on this, about doing a peer review kind of thing. And I at least have, I think, a few of you now who have reached out about that. So I want to make sure I'm going to get on that basically first thing after I do this, and try to get that crosstalk going. And then for others, if you're not totally done or at the place where you're ready to kind of do the last peer reviews, touch up, tie a bow, this kind of thing. Some of you all are ways back. Some of you all maybe still need to be working with your data, these kinds of things. So that's a big part of why I wanted to put this together, was to, again, reach out to everybody, no matter where you sit in relation to things, and to try and kind of take stock of all that. So I guess I would more so be speaking to you all who still have a number of things kind of in front of you with the class, because it is hard to know across the board, because everybody has individual differences. This is where I'm trying to kind of reach in through Canvas, through different places, whatever it is, to make sure you're seeing some of the feedback, or at least the points or the things like that. Like at the beginning of the term, I kind of indicated that there's a whole spectrum of what people kind of want, need, hope for, whatever it is, relating to my contribution versus others and that. And I do sincerely apologize. I've been freaking apologizing for all these weeks. This summer's been a doozy. So I know for like those of you who have been reaching out, like some of us we've been meeting on Zoom and working on stuff together and going back and forth on things and being very, very interactive on them. And then, plenty of you also who kind of just, you do your own thing, you know what you want to do, you're going to work on it on your time and get things in, also, which is perfectly fine. So, reason I bring this up again, of course, is that with now being Monday going into this last, handful of days, hours basically, I want to really reiterate and really emphasize again, if you're in need, if you need help with the data, if you need help with what does this mean or how do I put this together or what's the next step or whatever it is, please let me know. Please let me know. I am here. I am on email. I'm always around to like jump on Zoom or on the phone, things like that, to hopefully unstuck whatever stuck places folks might sort of find themselves. I kind of part of this too is I wanted to explain, because I know that there's a lot of differences with professors, faculty, people like that in the way that they approach finals week. So some of you all have been in courses with me before. I'm pretty much like this across the board. My bias, the way that I kind of always go into this last chunk of any term, is I try to kind of afford the greatest like chunk of time, the biggest buffer, the most opportunity that I conceivably sort of can for people, which is to say, a lot of professors, they'll set up their due dates and things for finals week, relatively early in finals week so that they can get everything collected, graded, taken care of, wrapped up, and kind of have everything kind of put in, final grades and all, pretty much going into the weekend, at the end of finals week. And there's something to be said for that, to be sure. But for better or for worse, my take generally is, particularly in the summer when it is much more difficult for a lot of people to attend to the academics and that sort of a thing. Technically, the way that these things work, we as faculty, we have to have our final grades in on the Monday following finals week. And so for us, that would be me putting the grades in on the 5th, on Monday, with everything ostensibly being in and all of that at that point. Monday the 5th is a holiday, and so next week I do believe they'll shift that out and accommodate a bit for the holiday. The reason I'm even bothering to say all of this to you is that for those of you, of course, you're wanting to wrap this up, the sooner you can kind of tie a bow on it, get this completed, and like, oh my God, take a breath and feel, I can only imagine how excited you are to have that happen. But so that you're aware, we do have this time through this week. Like I said, it's Monday morning now. We have all of this week to keep working on things, get things in, get them submitted, wrap up this thing, polish up this thing, whatever it is. And that means through this week, and that does mean kind of going into the weekend even too. So I say for better or worse, right? Because it's not optimal, but I am trying to leave that open. If you're looking at this week and you're thinking, I didn't have this piece, or this, I really wanted to get X, Y, or Z, or I was going to get this other thing submitted from a while back, and now my week's crazy and everything, just know that we do have time, and that if there's any kind of takeaway that I'm essentially trying to communicate here, it's that I'm here. I want to work with you. I want to make sure that we get you where you want or need to be, whatever that looks like. So I'll be, going like a madman on this end, just of course attending to, this course and other courses too, with the grading, with the emails, with the projects, with the wrapping everything up kind of across the board. So it's going to be bonkers, but I'm here. And so wherever you're at, whatever you need, whatever it is, let's just be in touch. And we will get those things figured out. With this course, of course, yeah. Anyway, this is, with it being the research course, the more advanced, it's not like some of my others where I take the exam, do the quizzes, here's the assignments, that kind of thing. This was all, of course, sort of this cumulative building project where, right, we started out, we got into the literature, did a basic lit review. For those of you who did give me the lit reviews, I am going in to actually get the points and the things like that on those. I do apologize. Of course, for those who were in touch and who I was kind of working with, we worked through some of those things. But as far as just generic feedback and points and things like that that would be showing up within Canvas, that's where I'm going to be playing catch up now for a lot of you. For instance, if we haven't been in touch or working on things, you're probably looking in there like, where the hell is all this stuff? So that's a good segue to what I've sort of already alluded to, which is, for instance, if you're at this place now, great, you're working on the data, you're going to try to get the paper wrapped up, but yeah, this intro piece didn't get in, or the methods part didn't get in, or this discussion for, or whatever it is. Understand that with this time, I mean, yes, there's a time sensitivity factor because this is cumulative and it builds on itself and that sort of a thing. But I also am not in the business of wanting to like hurt people in the points grade department. If you've been working on this project, but it's been kind of in fits and starts, this thing research never works nice and linear and flawlessly. And honestly, that's a big part of what courses like this are all about, is kind of giving you that feel of, here's what it looks like in a textbook, here's what we say it looks like and how it works. Now let's do 11 weeks of troubleshooting and give you a feel for what research is really like. 99% troubleshooting, and then whatever in that 1% can be parsed out to basically everything else that constitutes research. So, yay. But to revisit that point, I don't want anyone to feel like you just have to forfeit any points because X, Y, or Z didn't get in. We have this time, basically, as I was saying, we've got like another week at this point. And so provided like we're on the same page, provided we can kind of work these things out, there's no reason we can't still get all those things in and get you the project, the paper, the grade that is commensurate with what you're doing, the work that you're putting in, the effort, and everything else. So, I don't know. I'm running on pure coffee right now, so I hope that makes sense. If it's not clear, anything like that, as I said, like, just reach out. Let me know. That's my whole gig here, is to try and help, try and get those things taken care of. And so whatever that looks like, let's figure that out in the coming days or whatever it is, so that we got this. What else can I say in a more general sense about things right now? Probably not a whole lot, because all of your work is so unique and individual. I think that's all I really have in the general sense. It's a kind of a weird message, but again, I guess that's where I just need to leave it. Is everybody's situation so unique and individual that I'll have to talk to you to figure out what's going to be best for you and me, or best for your project or whatever it is. So that's where I'm going to go. I know a handful of you have already been in touch from over the weekend. I'm going to be getting on those emails as quickly as I can here after this as well. I know a bunch of you, or not a bunch, but at least a handful of you already are talking about meetings, so we're going to be finding those times to work on those things and the like. And outside of that, I know Zoom meetings and stuff like that are not everybody's cup of tea, to have to actually sit down, do the thing, whatever. I'm happy to hop on email. I am happy to hop even just over the phone, a non-video phone call, whatever your preference is. I'm good with that. And then in the big picture, if I'm going to be taking the papers from those of you who are wanting to do the peer review thing, and doing my best to get you linked up immediately. So if you're seeing this and you aren't part of that but wish to be, just let me know as soon as possible too, so that I can make that happen with you all. And then, of course, this week, as we're doing this push now, the frenetic sprint to the finish line, all those things that are kind of sitting out there in that, you're going to see all the points now definitely showing up in the grade book. For work that you've been putting in, unless there was something that was horribly egregious, we would have been in touch about that. But provided, this was that building process, step by step by step, kind of evolving the project, evolving the paper and the sections and all of that. That's beautiful. And as I'm going back and looking over, for instance, like the literature reviews, I'm of course looking at those not as what do they look like in relation to your final project. I'm looking at them as what did those look like at that stage in the process of development, in the creation of the project, the methods, the background, the rationale, all of that sort of stuff. So understand that I do know that the time frame, all of those things are addressed, will be addressed, have been addressed kind of through that lens. And that, for instance, if you did not submit, say, the methods section or the intro section when we crossed that, but now you've got it because you have basically the whole paper put together, we can figure that out. You can cut and paste that section, still plug it in. Sure, that's great. If you want to be in touch, we can talk about how do we take that full paper, relate it back to those individual sections when they were due on this day, due on that day, that kind of a thing. Because you've still done it. You've still worked through this project, and even if your time frame, your life, all the forces that be didn't allow you to just be in lockstep with the layout of the modules and all that, that's real research. That's real life. So let's just figure out how we make that work between yourself and myself so that you are still getting all the points, everything that you need, all that stuff. All right. My coffee-fueled brain, I don't feel like I'm making as much sense as I typically would like to. I hope this translates. Overall, of course, the big take-home for all of you is simply to say we got another week, and that everybody's needs and thoughts and locations are different. And so if you want me to, I will find you at whatever location you wish, and we'll take it from there. So I guess outside of that, I just as well wrap this up because, again, I'll talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. So I will leave that there. Many of us will be in touch between now and the end of the term. Some of us will not be, and that's perfectly fine too. So just as of course, across the board, to all of you message, for those of us who will be in touch, awesome. Talk to you soon. For the rest of you all, great work this summer. This is a no bullshit course. This is advanced. This is very involved. It's very applied. There's a lot of moving parts. It's the onus, of course, is pretty much exclusively on you all with where you're at in creating these things, doing them, implementing them, all of that. And that's hard anytime, but especially in the summer. So just know that I'm aware of that, and kudos to all of you for this. I know many of you are going to be going on to graduation following this, so huge congratulations on that front. Some of you all will still be doing a handful of things. I hope I'm lucky enough to still get to work with you in some capacity going down the road. And even if we don't have a course together, just know, like, I am always around. I think I may have said this back like originally around syllabus time and all of that, but one of the things that really stands out to me as somebody who always was an on-campus, face-to-face, in the classroom student, and that's how I was as a professor for most of the years. This whole digital online, for all the benefits, all the good things that come from this, certainly there are some detriments as well. And one of the biggest, at least to my way of thinking, is that it does make it extraordinarily hard to connect with faculty, to create relationships, to get the additional kinds of sort of guidance and ideas and the things that you would kind of get right from those different relationships. So I just again leave that open as a sort of invitation that going forward, even if you're graduating, even if you're not, even if you're going to grad school, even if you're going to a job, even if you have no idea what you're doing, irrespective, if you want to talk about any of those things, if you want any perspective, guidance, anything like that on jobs, on grad school, on research, on well, I get shit. I got opinions on just about everything, but that's a whole other kind of conversation. Point being, don't be a stranger. I put that out there for what it's worth, and we are going to be wrapping things up. So, for those of you who I talk to soon, awesome. Can't wait. For the rest of you all, thank you for not only your really excellent work throughout the whole summer and throughout the whole term. Thank you also, as I've said in a number of different ways, you've afforded me an extraordinary amount of grace and patience this term. I can't express the appreciation and the gratitude I have for that. Won't get into the whole big story of things, but it's meant a lot to me. So thank you so much. I apologize that I haven't been a more sort of omnipresent. I can get really micromanagey, especially when it comes to research projects, but I've had to be extraordinarily hands off. So some people love that, some of you don't. I'm sorry, I don't know. You know what I'm saying. Irrespective of all of that, I hope you all have had a really great summer. Thank you for all of the incredible hard work, all of the really, really great projects, the papers. I'm already reading through some of them. It's just awesome to see what you've been able to put together and all of that. So take care of yourselves. Congratulations, period. And I wish you the absolute best. So take care and hopefully be in touch. All right. Cheers, everybody.